Hi, I'm Speedy Nathan for this edition of Disc is Where It's At. Now, Discmania has had the evolution method for a while, but they just recently released this disc in exo hard plastic. They pretty much have always had the neo plastic, as well as the forge plastic. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a comparison of how those three mid-range discs fly and what kind of comparisons we can make. Now, all three of these are the same mold, they're the same weight, they're 177, and the only difference is they're different plastic. You have the exo hard plastic, which is fairly stiff. You have the neoplastic, which is softer, glossy. It feels great in the hand. It's nice and grippy. And the forged plastic, very similar to the neoplastic. Again, fairly soft, nice and grippy. Feels good in the hand. This mold, the method mold, it has a nice bead right there. It just feels comfortable in the hand to throw, and as you can see, it with the profile of it there, it is basically an overstable disc, more than an understable one. Let's see, the flight numbers on this are 5503, so it's a fairly overstable disc that will have that nice fade at the end of each throw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here some footage of when I went and threw these discs previously to make a comparison. Here you go. Forge plastic. Neoplastic. Hold that a little bit. Exo hard plastic. Let's go get him. This one was a slight grip lock, but it looks like it went the furthest. This was the neoplastic. You can see right here the exo hard, and over here the forge. They went about the same distance. All comfortable retrieval throws. Let's look here. Neo, right here. And then over here, the forge. And finally, the one that went the furthest, exo hard. All right, so really, when it when it comes down to the results, the conclusions I can draw from the throwing that I did, the Exo Hard, which is stiff, it actually was more understable, so less stable than the forged plastic or the neoplastic. The forged plastic and the neoplastic, they're both pretty similar in feel. They have that glossy feel to them, and they're softer than the Exo Hard plastic, which is more like a D-line plastic. But distance-wise, I found that all basically went very similar distances. None of those three went clearly further than the others. The one difference was the Exo Hard plastic was a little bit more understable than the neoplastic or the forged plastic. So that's my conclusion, and that's it for this edition of Disc Is Where It's At. I'm Speedy Nathan.